You know, when it comes to movie villains, Darth Vader truly stands out. He's on a whole other level, intimidating, tragic, and that iconic suit of armor, it's unbeatable. He's become such a big part of our culture that just hearing the sound of his breathing sends shivers down our spines. But is it possible that there is someone that this enigma and embodiment of galactic evil fears? We answer this question in this video. Welcome to Star Wars Deconstructed, students of the Force and acolytes of the galaxy. Whether you're Jedi, Sith, or somewhere in between, join us today as we explore the depths of Darth Vader's mind and fish out the person he fears most. In the vast Star Wars universe, Darth Vader has been ruling the roost for quite some time. Yeah, there's Darth Sidious, the Emperor, above him, but Vader is the one who's been seen as the face of the Galactic Empire. He's like their point man, pointing his lightsaber at a planet, and poof, people are gone. But you know what? While he's been a scary force in the Galactic Empire, even boogeymen like Vader have their own fears. He's not invincible, and he's had to deal with the fear of death and the shame of defeat, too. In this video, we examine the person that Darth Vader fears the most. The topic of whom Darth Vader fears most and reasons behind those fears have been a subject of great interest and debate within the Star Wars community. Fans have had various interpretations of the character's motivations and emotions, leading to numerous controversies and theories over the years. Some fans have even mentioned some characters that Darth Vader possibly fears a lot. First up, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker's former master. When Anakin turned to the dark side and became Darth Vader, he faced his master in a fierce battle on Mustafar. That first encounter didn't go too well for Vader, as he ended up losing quite badly. But it will still be hard to accept that Vader actually fears Obi-Wan, given that years later, they had a rematch and this time Vader emerged victorious. Next on the list, we have Galen Marek, also known as Starkiller. Now, there are many reasons why fans would speculate that Darth Vader fears Galen. The first is Starkiller's powers. Galen Marek possesses extraordinary force abilities, and even surpassing some of the strongest Jedi and Sith. His raw power and talent make him a formidable opponent, capable of taking on multiple adversaries at once. Fans might argue that such power could cause concern or fear in even the likes of Darth Vader. There is also an argument for Vader's attachment to him. In the Force Unleashed games, Starkiller was trained by Darth Vader himself, serving as Vader's secret apprentice. Despite his initial intention to use Starkiller as a tool to overthrow the Emperor, Vader forms an emotional attachment to him over time. Some fans could interpret Vader's attachment as a source of fear, as it makes him vulnerable to being betrayed or losing Starkiller. However, none of these speculations hold water because Darth Vader is more powerful and stronger than Galen Marek, and there's no universe where he overcomes Vader in a fight. Then there's Kirik Infala, an isolated Jedi that Vader had to face to get his hands on a new lightsaber. Initially, Kirik won against Vader and even sent him tumbling off a cliff, that lightsaber, so he had to go for a rematch and eventually emerged victorious. So while Vader's first defeat might have sparked rumors that he feared Kirik, his eventual victory over the lone Jedi definitely puts an end to those rumors. Now how about Staus Sykes? His story is similar to that of Kirik. This guy witnessed Vader slaughtering his own family and sought revenge. He transformed himself with cybernetics and became a top bounty hunter for the Empire. When he attacked Vader during a personal talk, he almost managed to defeat the Sith Lord, but in the end, Vader got the upper hand and finished him off. Last but not least, we have Ahsoka Tano, one of Anakin Skywalker's closest friends and a veteran of the Clone Wars. After some false accusations, she left the Jedi Order and fought as an independent warrior for the light side, secretly supporting the Rebel Alliance. Ahsoka and Vader crossed blades in a battle to the death, and although Vader almost won, she survived thanks to a mystical intervention. But it is hard to give life to the speculation that Vader fears Ahsoka. As for the events depicted in Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, there's no clear indication that Darth Vader fears Ahsoka Tano. Their final confrontation in Star Wars Rebels Season 2 and 4, where Ahsoka faces Vader once again after their separation during the Clone Wars, showcases more of Ahsoka's emotional struggle and determination to bring Anakin Skywalker back from the darkness, rather than Vader expressing fear towards her. Finally, let's examine an option that might actually be the correct answer: Emperor Palpatine. And it is possible that Darth Vader fears Palpatine, also known as Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious. There are several reasons why Vader may harbor fear towards his master. The first one is the absolute power that Palpatine possesses. Palpatine is an immensely powerful Sith Lord, one of the most powerful in the galaxy. He has complete mastery over the dark side of the Force, and his abilities are formidable. Vader, despite being strong himself, recognizes the Emperor's overwhelming power and understands the consequences of crossing him. There is also the manipulative nature of his master. Palpatine is a master manipulator and is skilled at playing people around him like pawns on a chessboard. He orchestrated the fall of the Jedi Order and the rise of the Galactic Empire, and manipulated Anakin Skywalker's transformation into Darth Vader. Vader knows that Palpatine is cunning, and that underestimating him could have severe consequences. But what about the threat of punishment? We all know that Palpatine rules through fear and intimidation, using the dark side to control and punish those who fail him. Vader has experienced the Emperor's wrath firsthand and witnessed the punishment meted out to others who have displeased him. This fear of punishment likely keeps Vader in line and loyal to his master. If you also consider the fact that for much of his life as Darth Vader, Anakin believed he was irredeemable and trapped in the dark side of the Force. The Emperor manipulated these feelings, making Vader feel that he had no choice but to serve him. This sense of entrapment contributes to a sense of fear and helplessness in the face of Palpatine's will. On the other hand, some fans argue that Darth Vader does not fear Palpatine, or at least not in the same way we all think. They assert that Vader's loyalty to the Emperor stems from a mix of duty and the belief that he can harness the dark side to serve his own interests. They also argue that Vader actually hates Palpatine and does not fear him. We know that Vader's power and evilness are off the charts, but there's something about him that feels oddly relatable, especially when you dive into the reason behind his fall to the dark side. You see, Anakin Skywalker, who later becomes Darth Vader, was driven by a desire to protect his true love, Padme. But tragically, it was his own turn to the dark side that led to her death, fueling his self-hatred and intense anger towards the entire galaxy, with the Emperor right at the center of this hatred. So Vader doesn't fear the Emperor. He despises him just as much as he despises himself. So if Vader does not fear Palpatine, who does he fear? The answer is here. It is possible that Darth Vader fears none other than Luke Skywalker, his own son. It's mind-boggling, right? But there's something about Luke that triggers fear in Vader, even though he's this immensely powerful villain. The evidence for this comes from Star Wars Darth Vader number 36, where Darth Vader faces off against an army of droids while his allies, Aphra and Ochi, watch from the sidelines. After the fight, Aphra decides to leave, and as she's leaving, she mentions to Ochi that Vader might end up killing him someday, just like he threatened to do to her. But Ochi doesn't seem too worried and says he feels safest by the side of the strongest person in the galaxy. Then they started debating who's really the strongest, Vader or Emperor Palpatine. And that's when Ochi points out that while Vader does show fear around the Emperor, there's one person whose name always makes Vader act scared. The kid who blew up the Death Star, Luke Skywalker. Now this raises the question of why Darth Vader might fear Luke. It's not confirmed, but there could be a few reasons. One possibility is that whenever Luke's name comes up, it's usually in the presence of the Emperor or high-ranking Imperial officers, and they discuss Vader either corrupting or killing his own son. Just thinking about that might overwhelm Vader with fear. Another idea is that Vader knows deep down that Luke is the only person in the galaxy who could bring him back from the darkness and redeem him with the light side of the Force. And that thought terrifies him. Regardless of the exact reason, it's fascinating that Darth Vader, this powerful Sith Lord, actually fears his own son, not the Emperor. It adds a whole new layer of complexity to his character and makes you wonder about the depth of the relationship. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and watch the next one. May the Force be with you.